Hello guys, in today's class we shall discuss about three-phase induction motors. So basically your three-phase induction motor consists of two parts. One is called as stator, the other part is called as rotor, and the stator is stationary whereas your rotor is rotatory one, where you can connect a mechanical load to that for your any uses. So let's see the working principle of your three-phase induction motor. So remember here, there consist of two speeds in your motor. One is your synchronous speed that exists in the stator part, whereas the other speed is just can call it as rotor speed, or just you can call it as speed that present in your rotor part. So ns is present in the stator part, whereas n is present in your rotor part. So why we are calling it as synchronous speed? You can see it is represented as ns. It is always present in stator. You can ask the question, since stator is stationary, then how this ns is coming into picture? Okay, we shall see that in the later part, synchronous speed and all. Why we are calling it as rotatory one, even though your stator is stationary. Okay, and again remember, your synchronous speed is always constant. It doesn't vary. Always the speed of the synchronous speed remains constant unless or until you vary the frequency. Since poles will remain fixed, so if you vary the frequency, ns will also change. So anyhow we are not varying the frequency you are going to maintain constant, so synchronous speed will also remain constant. Okay, once again, the synchronous speed will remain in stator part, and your just speed or rotor speed is present in the rotor, where your the rotor rotates. And again, the synchronous speed is due to the rotational magnetic field, RMF, and we shall see how that RMF is created. Okay, so here we have some pictorial representations here, some diagrams we have how your motor starts to run. Okay, so you can see that in the picture A, where we have one pole marked it as south, and here you can see this is the rotor part, and these are all your rotor conductors. Okay, you can see that we know that field is there in the stator part, so assume that there is a one more pole here where the field of direction is from bottom to top. Okay, so all are flowing from bottom to top. So whenever field is excited, that is a main field, so what happens, the flux will start to flow from bottom to top as it is shown here. Okay, and again let us assume that direction of the rotational magnetic field is in the left to right, that is clockwise direction. Okay, clockwise direction, and the speed at which this it is rotating is with respect to RMF, that is synchronous speed, rotational magnetic field. Okay, so here whenever the flux will flow through the conductors, these conductors will experience what, certain force over it. How this force is occurred? Because as these conductors are placed inside the field, so we know that as per the Faraday's electromagnetic induction, whenever current carrying conductor is placed inside the field, it experiences certain force. The same thing happens here. So EMF will get induced in this conductors, in the rotor conductors, and this EMF will set up a short circuit current in the rotor part. You can see that in the second diagram, induced current in the rotor conductor, because here, as I said, due to the flow of this field, EMF gets induced, and due to the EMF, what happens, there induces a rotor current in the rotor part. Okay, and due to the flow of current in the rotor part, so what happens, we know that when current carrying conductor, there is a field around it. You can see if I apply the right thumb rule here, as we can now see that current is going inside the screen. So if I apply right thumb rule here, you can see that the direction of the flux of the rotor, you can see it's again clockwise direction. Okay, it's in the clockwise direction. So what happens, this main field flux as well as the flux created by this rotor will interact now. Okay, this field as well as this circular field will get interact. So due to this interaction, what is happening, you can see that at this particular part, that is in the left half part, what happens, this main field as well as the rotor field, what happens, you can see they are going to add up, because this is also in the same direction and this is also almost, it is in the same direction. But here the right part, you can see this direction is from bottom to top, that is main field flux, whereas this rotor field as well as the main field are opposing each other. Say this rotor field is coming here as it changes. So here what happens, this as well as this, what they try to oppose each other. So what happens, there is the reduction in the field at the right part. Okay, so they will try to cancel out each other, you can say. So left part they try to aid each other, whereas in the right part they will try to cancel out each other. So there creates a Lorentz force. Hope you know what Lorentz force is. So that will be in the direction from where, left to right. So this rotor will try to move from left to right, so in the circular fashion. So this will be more clear if I show one more picture. As you can see here, this is RMF direction. As I said, addition of fluxes is going to happen in the left part, whereas cancellation of fluxes is going to add up here, going to happen here. So this rotor will what, here the more flux is there, here less flux is there. You can't say 100% cancellation occurs. So when compared, the flux in the left part is more and here in the right part it is less. So this flux will push this rotor in the left side like this. Okay, from left to right, from left to, so from left it is pushing to the right, towards right. So this rotor will start to rotate. Okay, so let us see a video so we can understand better. So this is your three-phase induction motor, and this is your yoke part. Okay, this is the yoke part which enclosed. Okay, so let's see what there in inside. Okay, this is the stator part and this is the rotor part, two main parts. Okay, so first we shall see what stator consists of. You can see they are highly permeable silicon steel, made up of silicon steel, just to what, eliminate the hysteresis losses, whereas to eliminate the thin laminations, to eliminate the what, eddy current losses. And you can see the windings are placed here, and when excited, what happens here, the field starts to rotate. This is called as the rotational magnetic field, which it is showing on the screen. And again, this winding can be either in the star connected or delta connected. And here you can see that there are three windings are there, RYB, three coils, just for your understanding sake, where you can see that when current starts to flow here, so what happens, we know that there creates a field around it. Okay, and then creates, can apply right hand thumb rule here to know the direction of the field. So like this, we're going to excite in all these three windings. One is red, yellow as well as blue. So make sure you place or space such a way that they are 120-degree electrically apart. Okay, so whenever I excite these three fields simultaneously by having 120-degree electrical apart, so what happens, there flows a current inside this, so producing the same field in the same direction. And again, remember, current changes its direction for every half cycle as we are applying AC voltage or AC current. You can see for first instance, you can see from all the three coils, the flux is started to produce, and it is varying upon with respect to the time, depending upon the flow of the current value. As current changes direction, so flux will also change the direction. So when this happens for all these three instances, so then creates a continuous change in the field, whereas remember, the magnitude remains constant but the field is alternating. Okay, so this is what the synchronous speed is. Assume this as a stator. So whenever I place a rotor, you can see the brown one is a rotor. If I place this, what happens, this EMF gets induced in it, and due to the induction of the EMF, what happens, there is a flow of current. This blue line, you can see there's a flow of current. Okay, remember, this conductor should be short circuited, and this, whenever current starts to flow, what happens, there is a field created here, and this will create, interact each other again, then creates a Lorentz force. Okay, and this makes the rotor to rotate. Okay, now we shall see the rotor part. This is the rotor part. Here you can see the rotor is made up of cast iron, and again you can see the bars are squared so as to reduce the hum noise. And again, this is the rotor field. Again, whenever the current starts to flow, what happens? Induced current there creates its own field. Okay. Now the question is whether the speed of rotor as well as the speed of stator, that is RMF speed, are they both same or they different? Okay. So let's see what happens if the speed are same. That is, we know that in the stator ns is there, whereas in rotor we have n. So my question is, what if ns is equal to n? What happens? Okay. Yes, if n is equal to ns, then there will be no any relative motion. See, relative motion is the reason why your rotor is rotating. We know that EMF is induced only when there is change in the magnetic field. If n is equal to ns, then there will be no any change in the magnetic field. Eventually your motor will stop to run and it will stop. So that is why the reason n is never equal to ns. Even though if it is what n is equal to ns, then what happens? Your motor will stop to rotate. When your motor will stop to rotate, so then there creates what? There is a large difference in the motion. You can say large relative difference in the motion. Again, what happens? Again, this ns will pull the rotor to rotate. Again, your motor will start to rotate. So what we can understood by this concept here is motor can never reach the synchronous speed. Even if it reaches, then what happens? Your motor will stop. But we don't see such scenario happening in the three-phase induction motor. It is continuously rotating. So when it tries to reach ns, always it is what? Lagging behind the ns. So what happens? Ns is always ahead of the n. Ns is always ahead of the n. N will always follow the ns. You can say ns is rotating around 5 rad per second, whereas n rotates around 1 rad per second, just in a case. Okay. So this what happens? Your motor will never reach n is equal to ns. Even if it reaches, your motor will stops. And if motor stops, again what happens? There creates a large relative motion. And due to the large relative motion, what happens? Again there is introduction of EMF in the rotor, and due to this introduction of EMF, there induces current, rotor current, again that causes the flux of the rotor flux, and that flux as well as main flux will interact. Again, due to the interaction, what happens? Then creates a Lorentz force. Again your motor starts to rotate. But that never happens. Your motor will always rotate due to the inertia. Your motor will never stop running. Okay, even if it stops, due to the inertia, what happens? Still it remains to rotate. So always remember, n is always less than n. Always n is always less than the ns. Okay, it can't reach the synchronous speed. So that's why sometimes we call it such motors, that is induction motors, as subsynchronous speed motors, or also you can call it as asynchronous motor. Okay, and again remember, whenever the speed ns and n are same, then what happens? The difference of speed will be 0. Whenever the difference of speed will be 0, then there will be no any force acting upon the rotor. So motor will eventually stop, but practically it doesn't happen. So now let's see what is slip of induction motor. What exactly slip is? Okay, don't confuse this slip with slip ring induction motor. Slip ring induction motor is different and the slip is different. Slip is basically what? Difference of two speeds. What are the two speeds? One speed is your synchronous speed, which is present in the stator. The other speed is the motor speed, that is present in the rotor. Okay, and we know that ns is always greater than n, so it is always difference, that is ns minus n will give you slip. So difference of speed is nothing but what? It is slip. And if I convert in terms of percentage, so always remember, we are going to calculate slip with respect to ns, synchronous speed. So it is ns minus n, change of the speed, that is from synchronous speed to the rotor speed, and again this is here ns to divide by ns. So slip is equal to ns minus n divided by ns. If I do with percentile, so just multiply with 100 and again can convert the slip in terms of percentage. Okay, and remember, at the start of the motor, slip is always equal to 1. Slip is always equal to 1 during the start of the any induction motor, either it may be three-phase induction motor or it is single phase induction motor.